Hey, MrWorkSmarter.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. So, my name's Ayim, and I guess why I'm here today is because I've had quite an interesting story over the last 6 years. I've had the pleasure of working and traveling to over 40 countries in the world. I've worked quite extensively in South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Uganda, Tanzania, Thailand, Italy, and quite extensively actually across the west coast of the United States, in Silicon Valley and San Francisco, which is startup central, right? So I have quite a unique perspective, I guess, into the startup world, but also the corporate world and the venture capital world, the investor world. And through that, I've been able to monetize my story, kind of package up what I've learned, and that's what I'm here to deliver that to you. So today's not really about us just telling a story to inspire you, about motivating you. It's really about giving you actionable steps for you to follow through and actually get started on your journeys on becoming either entrepreneurs or just leveraging your entrepreneurial traits. But before we begin, I want to learn a little bit about what you've kind of learned today, like what's been some highlights, just from a show of hands, because this is not going to be us dictating to you. We're not teachers, you're not students. There's going to be more of a conversation, more of a dialogue, so we're going to need you to get involved. Like that little bit of interaction with Pokemon Go, but that's the last thing I'm going to mention that. So just let me know, like, what have you guys really done today? What's some of the highlights that you've kind of gained yourself, sir?
So my name is Ellen. We've had talks on lateral thinking, so creative thinking, and how to and steps to being successful, and how being creatively minded can make that much of a difference.
Okay, did you touch on Edward de Bono?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I know lateral thinking. What else have you touched on today?
We touched on the importance of having a voice to speak out about like who we are, our identity, and
yeah, for real.
Make the rest of the world know about that.
Cool, that sounds good. Last one?
Basic attitude. So when you go to an interview, if you're going enthusiastic about it, basic, you need to get the job.
It's interesting, we've got another talk that we do, which we're not going to give today, about monetizing on your story. And it's all about that, the fact that we've never really had A's in our life, but we've managed to work for Ernst & Young, some of the most reputable companies in the world, Barclays Bank, and we haven't had a single A. We didn't go to a Red Brick University, but it's about how to monetize your story, but we're part of that. I'll be honest with you, this hour that you're going to spend with us is possibly going to be one of the most valuable hours you're going to have in the whole of 2016. Whoa. And I'll tell you why.
Wow, heavy. That's wow. Oh.
I'm a bit weary because usually people clap at the end. To clap before means that you're confident in me, right? I have to deliver now, right? Alright, so honestly, all jokes aside, I'd advise you to sharpen your pencils, get your pens ready. If you have notebooks, take notes. If you have your phones there, take notes on your phone. It's going to be moving at velocity, quite fast paced. But take on what you can, and we're going to try and save some Q&A for the end. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. So the three things we're going to focus on today, in terms of getting started as an entrepreneur, is firstly, understanding. So understanding what an entrepreneur is versus isn't. Understanding the funding landscape, understanding the landscape that we're in, and the unique ability that we have being here in the UK. Secondly is about emotion. Emotionally getting invested, understanding the importance of consistency, and that it's a game of inches, and it's the progress that you make each day that makes the difference in the long yard. And then finally, the actionable steps that you can take today, literally when I leave this room, to get started and turn your ideas into things. So where my background kind of comes into play is that through working with corporate startups and investors, a bulk of my work was in strategy. So it's taking a big vision, which everyone can really create in this room, that North Star of where we want to get to, turning that into a strategy. So what's the actionable steps, the how we're going to achieve that vision, and then this is the part where we separate kind of the entrepreneurs from the wannapreneurs. How do you actually execute on that strategy to realize that vision? Does that make sense? If this makes sense, give me an eye.
Aye.
Good. Interactive, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to tell a little story about my auntie. My auntie immigrated to the UK in 1996. She sacrificed the life that she lived for a life she didn't know, for an opportunity she had here in the UK. A lot of our parents probably did the same, and that's the reason you're in this room right now. I hope you recognize that and you're grateful for that, right? My auntie started a shop, a grocery store in Tottenham, called Kumasi Central Market. Talking about demand and supply, she recognized that there's a lot of Guardians in the room, clearly. Black Lives Matter. My auntie recognised though demand and supply that within Tottenham there's a Ghanaian demographic, there was a low amount of supply in terms of Ghanaian produce that we all enjoyed back home, and she therefore fulfilled that supply by opening her shop. Now my auntie is for sure an entrepreneur, She's not a startup entrepreneur, but she's an entrepreneur. She runs a business, it's profitable, she's done well. She worked a triple shift in it, essentially. She started a business, she was working a night shift, and she was a single parent. It's not easy, right? She worked 6 days a week, more than most of us would work in our 9 to 5s. But when I asked my auntie, are you an entrepreneur? She'll say, no, I'm more like an employee actually. I get in at 7:30, I leave at about 9 each day, and I work 6 days a week. In fact, I am a leader, yeah, for sure, it's my business, but I'm more of an employee than an entrepreneur. If I ask her, what does she really do? She says, I just solve a problem, I supply goods to a market that wants these needs. When I asked my auntie, what is an entrepreneur, and what's an entrepreneur to her, she gave me a definition of 3 different types of entrepreneurial traits that are sometimes misinterpreted for entrepreneurship.
But before you begin that, continue, Andy, what do you lot think entrepreneur is? Anyone want to put their hands up and guess?
Someone who spots the gap in the market and fills the need.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyone else?
What else?
Someone with a vision.
Yeah.
Someone who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on the way down.
Someone actually fell off a cliff recently playing Pokemon Go and died. So there's the first type of person that has entrepreneurial traits that can sometimes be misinterpreted for an entrepreneur. It's what we call a freelancer or consultant. So this person exchanges time for money. So when they work, whether they're selling on eBay or selling services on Fiverr.com, they get paid in exchange for that work. They could be supplying a service such as a graphic designer who created a flyer for this event. They have entrepreneurial traits for sure, but they're just leveraging those entrepreneurial traits. They can still have a 9 to 5 and still run that business outside of the 9 to 5. For example, on Amazon, there's an FBA program, which is Amazon's fulfillment buying service. And what that allows you to do is to buy bulk packages from a retail store at a discount. Let's say it's tissues for argument's sake at 10p. Go onto Amazon, sell it for 35p, and you profit from the retail arbitrage. And you send everything through to Amazon and they'll fulfill all of your orders for you and deliver it around the world, and all you see is profit come in. That's something that you can do outside of your 9 to 5, but that person's not an entrepreneur, they're a freelancer. The second type of person who has entrepreneurial traits is called an intrapreneur. This is not yet in the dictionary, but it will be in a few years. An intrapreneur is someone that works within an organization, and they basically leverage their entrepreneurial skills but risk the company's capital and the company's resources in order to deliver a product or service to the market. Therefore, they're taking quite a limited risk on that respect. For example, when I went to San Francisco last year, I started an innovation practice for a small consultancy that I worked for. It was just an idea and a concept, had zero revenue, a very high cost base because they had to fly me out to San Francisco and rent me an apartment. Didn't pay for nothing. When I was out there, I had to network with VCs, make introductions, create win-win relationships. I had to network with startups within their portfolio and basically tell those startups that I'm going to bring you buying customers, which are the corporate relationships that we had back in London and back in Africa. So Barclays Bank would be an example, and that would be like compare the market. We bring those companies out to San Francisco and we'll take them for what we call an executive tour. We'll show them all the drones, the shiny lights, the startup lifestyle in San Francisco, but then we'll introduce them to the VCs and actually show them startups within their portfolios that address the problems and challenges that they need solving. Does that make sense? Are you following me so far?
Yes.
Say I. Oh yes. Yes, I am following. Okay, cool. So once I was out there, I started that business. That business today is worth £6 million. I've left that company, I've moved to another company. That's an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur in that instance. I've also been a freelancer in my past life as well. Kind of hustling like Dennis did. Started off in kind of illegal whatever. And thirdly, of course, we have an entrepreneur, right? And an entrepreneur risks their own financial capital, their own resources, their own will, their passion, their livelihood to deliver a product or service to the market. There's kind of a fourth definition as well, and it's what we call like a entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce you to Tommy. So Tommy was excited 6 weeks ago. He had an idea for an app that he wanted to create. He wanted to create a barber scheduling app. He thought straight away and there's always a Tommy in the room. There's always people that relate to a Tommy. Let me finish the story though. You might not like Tommy, but yeah. So the thing with Tommy is that he got really excited by his idea and he didn't want to tell anyone about it. He didn't want anyone to steal it. You know how these ideas go? So then Tommy works on his idea. He finds a freelancer on Upwork. he gets the guy developing his idea, and while he's doing that, he buys the logo, kick-ass logo, he registers the company's name, he does all of the cosmetics, he does the website, everything's ready, he's good to go, he develops the app, he does it within 6 weeks, he decided website and app, isn't Tommy the man? Tommy's the man. Tommy's the man. Tommy's the man. Alright, so then Tommy has his app, he goes to a barber and he says, yeah, I've created this scheduling app, what do you think of it? Would you like to use it with your clients? And the barber says, no, that's not really a problem for me. Actually, it's a first come, first served basis, and it works. If people want to schedule time with me, they just phone me. That's not really a problem that I need to alleviate.
Yep.
So what we see with Tommy is that Tommy's a bit of a entrepreneur in that he's got excited and focused on the cosmetics. He focused on the surface. He focused on making things look pretty and look nice. That's what a lot of us do when we're excited with passion, because that's where passion takes us. Where Tommy should have done is taken a step back. He should have spoken to me. And he should have focused on two things in particular first, and it's about self-awareness. It's about listing out exactly what you're good at and exactly what you're passionate about. And then understanding, where's the pen? I wanted to do this. I want to do this, yeah. No, I need a board pen. I don't really work with boards, right? Like, this is like a teacher thing, so I'm just really excited. All right. He didn't realize the overlap in between. It's not about focusing on what you're just passionate about. It's about realizing what you're passionate about and both gifted at. You're more likely to stay the course once you focus on that, because that's where the rubber meets the road. That's when you execute on your ideas and actually you're willing to make things happen. There's key flaws with Tommy's approach. One was that he didn't develop an MVP or a prototype to go and test and validate with customers. Therefore, he was focusing on his perceived value rather than a customer value. But Tommy's not creating the app for himself, he's creating it for customers. So why wouldn't you go on based on their opinion rather than your own? But we all fall fallacy of this, right? Yeah?
Yep.
And who's experienced this? Who knows the Tommy?
Yep.
That's
And
right.
just to add, I was a Tommy, and this is why I lost over 30k during my time trying to run a business. So I was